There we go.
What's this on?
This is supposed to. It said Instagram, but Instagram ain't up. They capping.
Facts. Well, I had a crazy song. It was good and bad for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I went through a breakup.
I mean, my bad, brother. You alright?
Nah, this ain't no joking, man. I was hurt hearing this. You hear me? But like I said, man, like life. When people be like life be life, man, it's because of the poor decisions that you make. As simple as that.
Hold on. Before we get into that, the episode is called "Black People Don't Have a Culture," and I know people want to make sure that we align with the title, so they don't think we clickbait and switchbait. You understand me? I just want to say why I named it that, because there is a clip going around that an African man is giving a breakdown on saying that Black people don't have a culture, and this has become like a psyop for people outside the diaspora to really attack Black American culture a lot. And I think that most of it stems from, most likely, jealousy, because we are the most influential people on the planet Earth, and people are tired of having to borrow everything from us. You understand me? And so we can get into that throughout this episode, but that's going to be the thing. You feel me? Throughout the episode at the same time.
Yeah. But as I was saying,
yes, sir.
I went through a breakup.
That's important.
At the beginning of the summer, which ended up being a gift and a curse for me. Of course, you know, after doing a breakup or whatnot, you be, you know, it's feelings. But it's, for me, I ain't the type that's gonna dwell in my feelings and be hurt and all that type of shit. I'm a transmute it every time. You hear me? And when I say the gift came because it made me feel like I was activated. I had a point to prove to turn up. Mm-hmm. I ended up creating a whole AI movie, a book, a new book, everything, bro. Like, we on tour, we turning up, we getting back to it. We even got the wellness situation popping. It was a gift at the end of the day, something that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Just to spark that revolutionary in me again, you know.
So you made that AI movie because you broke up? Was it a love story then?
Nah, it's just that I put all my energy toward it and just made sure that I got it done. That's what I'm saying. I had already been working on the AI movie at the beginning of the year, and I just never told nobody because I ain't want no outside influences on this movie. I wrote it, directed it, sound scored it, edited it. It made the book, made the website, everything by myself. Everything. Okay. But I just made sure
So is your heart good before we move forward and stuff? Like, you ain't gonna cry or nothing if we mention the wrong words.
Like what? What's the word you might mention?
I don't know. I don't know what might set you off. You understand me? I know there's a lot of sensitivities of dealing with the heart. I'm not as sensitive as you, so I don't know what vocabulary for a sensitive man.
Nah, I'm straight. I should
know that right before.
Right, I'm living my life like it's golden at the end of the day. Real shit.
What did you say? Give your observation of how to tell a good woman and how to pick them. Okay, we can get into that, Steve.
I mean, after a breakup, it seemed like they all the same. I'm just kidding.
You might not be the right person.
I'm just kidding, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I would say follow your heart, but realistic.
You got lost doing that.
Realistically,
the wrong way.
Follow your logic. At the end of the day, bro, logic beats all of that other shit. At the end of the day, bro, if it don't make sense, man, just end it. At the end of the day, bro, before you do some irrational decisions and vice versa, ladies. Shit, if it just don't make sense, because I know a lot of women be emotionally attached to men.
All right, so logic. Now I'm not heartbroken like Steve, so
I ain't my heart. I never be broken. You know what I'm saying? I got too much wisdom up here to let somebody just break my heart. You know what I'm saying? Now don't get twisted. I was a little hurt. You know what I'm saying? I felt it.
It's tore.
It was scratched.
It's tore.
You know what I'm saying? It was Cupid shot me. It then broke the little thing. You know what I'm saying? Only because it was too much time invested, and I just felt like, damn, I put all my eggs in one basket. Then that was the case, you know. But I can't say that shit. I was faithful.
You put all your eggs in one basket, so you carried them all at once. I never understood that. It was like, why wouldn't you put all your eggs in one basket?
No, I'm
It
just
makes
saying,
more sense
you know,
logically, so you can carry
I'm
it.
saying now the saying is just this, it's just like a play on words.
All right, but when you really think about it, like it makes logical sense to put all your eggs in one basket.
But if you put them all in one basket and you drop the basket, then they all break. Then what? You should have put them all in a separate basket.
You just gotta have trust in yourself and go get some more eggs.
You know,
that's all it is. You know what I mean? You crack some eggs, so what? You know what I mean? Go get some more. There's more eggs to go get. There's plenty of chicken heads out there. You know what I'm talking about? So that's all it was.
Nah, I don't date chicken heads, man. It gotta be goddess energy on.
Okay.
But anyway, let's get into
the brother asked for good advice, so I'm gonna give him the advice before we get into black people don't have culture. You know, find you first of all. When searching for someone else, you first, and this the advice can sound however you want to, but you have to focus on yourself first, right? Because you have to focus on thinking about, you know, are you the type of person that you would date? You understand me? I think that's very important, right? And then thinking about the type of person that you deserve, right? And that's important as well because sometimes people look for people that they don't really deserve. Right. And when you're looking for the type of woman that you want, it's really thinking about, you know, who can match and who can help you with your vision. Right. It's very important. So when you pick somebody that can help you with your vision, there's going to be value that you see in her all the time, even when the love is not there sometimes. Right. Even when y'all go through rough patches, when you hurt, you always see the value. If you focus on a woman that coincides with your vision, a helpmate. You understand me? Somebody that brings you peace, somebody that brings you joy. You understand me? Somebody that can assist you through good, bad, and ugly times. You understand me? Somebody that is a reflection that reminds you of the best parts of yourself, right? As a man, you're finding a complementary part of yourself, but you have to be in your divine and in your higher order of masculine. You understand me? So you're finding somebody the opposite of yourself. And what happens is a lot of people are so feminine that the brothers are not even attracting their opposite. They're attracting their like because you're just as feminine as her. You understand me? And so when you're a man searching for vision, then you look for a woman who can complement that vision, right? And then you have partnership. And in that partnership, you all are collaborating. You are cooperating with each other, right? And what it brings is it brings intention in that relationship. And it brings value to that. So, you know, you definitely want to find a woman who's not chasing what you do, but she's in love with who you are. You understand me? Which is completely different. Somebody who's still going to challenge you so that you don't become weak within yourself and you're not chasing her. You're always moving towards vision and she's always pushing you towards that progression as well. There are many things that go into this conversation before a young man. It's always focusing on the development of self and your vision and then finding right, someone that can help and partner with you along the journey of your vision.
Yeah, that's my biggest flaw when I meet.
Shout out to Mar the Chosen. Ask what's a book? You can go ahead, but I just wanted to make sure we get this shout out. Yeah. What's a good book for young black men to read?
The Way of the Superior Man. It's always the first recommendation I give people.
That's a great book. Message to the Black Man is always a great book for every young black man to read.
Yeah. But nah, that'd be my biggest debacle in this dating pool or whatnot. I always meet women that want this. Mine like want to be in the midst of all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? I hate it. Even they even go as far as masking it. The whole time that's what the attention is to get around that, you know. But anyway, on lighter news, right? That was light. I mean, that was heavy. But
I'm talking about heavy. I almost flipped out the chair, guys. I thought feeling the weight. Oh, that lighter news.
Woosah.
Damn, bro, don't cry, man.
Now, shout out to Shawty, though. She was a good girl, though, bro. She was a good girl, bro. Shit happens, bro.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right?
You know, I thought it was poetic the way he was putting everything together.
Anyway, I was scrolling the other day, right, and I was on, click on your stuff. You know, I don't really be on your page and because I see you so much, I don't be looking at all the posts and whatnot. But I end up saying this. Somebody commented, and they was like, 19 Keys been preparing his entire followers for this very moment in time right now. You know, over the years, you know, you probably. Oh, let me get her a shout out real quick. Shout out to Tamaya. I don't know how to say her last name. Kashawani. I don't know how you say that, bro. How you say that?
Tamiyaki Shawnee.
Okay.
So that's like Native American or something like that.
But read it out, bro. What did she say, bro?
Now she say, during times like this, I care what 19 Keys has to say about what's going on in the United States. 19 Keys has told us to be vigilant years ago. The whole time he been preparing his audience for moments like this. You start kicking the chair. I appreciate you.
I ain't kicking the chair. You rocking the chair.
I appreciate you.
But anyway.
No, it's real. I appreciate you, Sister Shawnee. You know, it's a frustrating thing at the same time, right? Because when you are preparing people for something, you know, there's only a small percent of people who actually listen.
Right.
Those percentage of people are the ones that you create the greatest impact for, right? Those are the ones who build the technology, who start building the wealth, who make the investments, who prepare themselves mentally, physically, financially, right? And then the rest are kind of waiting in the wind, asking what to be done. And this is why a lot of people feel like what you say is not enough because they're not following, right, the instructions, or they're not taking in the education. A lot of people are treating this just like something to scroll past or entertainment. But when other people see it, right, as golden knowledge and information, wisdom and understanding, they say, you know what? Those were marching orders, right? It wasn't just content for me to consume, right? It was content for me to listen to and execute upon. And those are the people who are internally grateful because they're taking the advice, the education, the information, the instructions, and they're building their life based on that. And then you have a lot of people who saying, man, you're just talking because they're not really listening.
So how did it make you feel, right? When you try to give people a warning or whatnot, and they start calling you crazy, like how they do Kanye, man. How does that feel?
Well, I don't really want to be compared to Kanye right now. Because he's still.
No, I'm using that as a reference
stuff. I still don't. But I don't know. People have never called me crazy.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I've always been ahead of my time. So what happened is that people. What happened is a lot of times people will condemn what you do when you're ahead of your time because they don't understand it. And then later they'll copy your blueprint without giving you credit. Right. So I've seen that a lot. Right. And that goes to like my whole blueprint, the way I talk about technology, the way I interact with it, the way I build my brand, the way I, create content, the way I build out my products and systems and things of that nature. Right. I've seen people at first early criticize because they didn't understand because I was ahead of my time and they were behind and they was focusing on old blueprints and frameworks. Right. And then they went and stole the whole entire thing in the blueprint. Now they operating with it and they'll never get credit where credit is due. So I've seen that of many times. You understand me? If people act like they not listening the whole time, you understand me? They just don't want to stand next to you because they don't want nobody to know they got everything from you. Right. So I think that's the bigger frustration, especially when you provide so much value to people. Like I was just thinking about this today. I definitely provide more value to people most of the 99% of the time they provide for me. Right. Like they're not reciprocating most of the time. And I had to think about that and really address a lot of my relationships because it's like, who's opening the doors for me? Who's giving me opportunities? You understand me? Who's setting up situations to make sure that I succeed and move forward? I was just thinking about how my brother John Boyd was pouring into me. And he was like, bro, make sure you surround yourself with people who are helping you elevate and who pushing you and things of that nature. And I know a lot of people, they see the access that we have, but the reality of it is, man, it ain't a lot of people that's truly aligned. Behind it. You would think things would happen easier, but that's never been my case. You know what I mean? I don't end up, like nobody's ever helped me get an audience. Nobody helps me get and by audience, I'm talking about like bring me guests and things of that nature on my show. There's been people who've helped and assist, put my name inside doors and things of that nature. And I'm eternally grateful for my audience, eternally grateful for my circle that do assist, that we put each other on and things of that nature. So eternally grateful for that. But when you think about a lot of this networking, a lot of these things being put on 90% of people, they're not giving back. So therefore it destroys community relationships, right? I'm still never will be a selfish person because it's always in my heart to do for others, right? Because I didn't do it for the intention of wanting something back. I thought that this was just the way that men move, right? But
what do you think that stems from as far as like prophets, you know what I'm saying, getting punished for pattern recognition, essentially, you know?
I think people do in some sense. People think that you think that you're better than them because you see something they don't see. You know what I mean? And so it's like, who are you to proclaim that you special, right? Because they like, well, if it's there, I should see it as well, right? And so it's not you coming out and saying I'm better than you, but it's saying that I have a gift. I see. I focus where you don't focus. I see where you don't see. You understand me? I am where you're not. Right. And so a lot of times when you can't respect other people's gifts is because you haven't developed your own. Right. And so I think speaking towards the future, right, we have to have a community that is also learn to only trust people that go through institutions and are validated by the system itself. But I always seen the world was like, no, the world is going off the system.
Yeah, Nipsey was a great example of that.
Yeah.
He was operating like he was already on the blockchain before he even caught up to the world.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so when you operating already in the future, you're not operating like things are coming. You operating like they're already there.
Yeah.
Right. That's why, now people are buying houses with NFTs. You understand me? And I just seen somebody sold a painting for like $1 million today, and they're making money off of it. And now they're turning those into digital IDs that's on the blockchain, and it's become a norm. Prada uses it in their product line and things of that nature. And a lot of people don't even know that these are the systems that this technology is being ran on. So it sounds crazy when you introducing something to a people who don't know something because they feel like, if this was going to be the thing, then I would see it too. And it's like that's not how being a visionary works, right? We see things that other people don't see. We operate on a frequency that most people are not on.
So essentially, like some people say, prophet is a man who sees. So how do you discern whether it's discern between it being just your vision versus your ego talking?
Oh, I don't think it's ever the ego when it comes to vision. Because when I think about the future, it's not what I want to see. It is me being in tune and alignment with the cycle, right? Time is not real. It's a cycle. You understand me? Like we really just going through cycles. And when we learn, we go through higher cycles or we repeat the same ones, right? That's why if you study history, you can see the same thing coming back. So studying the past allows you to see the future because you know what's coming back around, right? It's like the elliptical nature of planets as they rotate, right? You know where they've been, so you know where they're going, right? Now, doesn't mean that something couldn't change within this planet. So next time it comes, you know what to do, right? You can take advantage of it. You can learn lessons from it. Because let's say that every time it goes through a cycle change similar to the seasons, we learn the seasons. Oh, it gets cold during 3 months. We had to be in tune and to learn the rhythm.
So chasing alignment.
Yeah, and getting in harmony with that, right? Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto, community building, social media, the next phase of Web 4, Web 5, whatever it goes, like, okay, this pattern has arrived before. And typically, since the people did not have this technology in the last pattern, they're going to operate a little differently, but the sentiment is similar to the same, right? And so it's like with technology, we're in this state of unease because we're faced with something new that is made by humans, which is what artificial is, because people start talking about artificial intelligence, but artificial, it just means something made by humans. It doesn't mean that it's, truly inferior, right? Because sometimes human beings can make things that are greater than the original, right? But, it's especially when we're talking about specificity of purpose. But when we're talking about artificial intelligence, human beings have the ability to make intelligence that are based on their own blueprint. And we're trying to eventually get to a point to where that intelligence is higher than what we know, to where it mimics God. That's eventually what human beings are trying to do. And I think we're ultimately going to get to a point where we're just in a state of awe of machine and man.
All right, I want to stick to the headline title that we dropped, you know what I'm saying? So people know, like you said, we ain't just bluffing and doing no clickbait. I just recently seen the let's take
I know for
mushroom
the
tea.
aesthetics, though, just for the aesthetics.
The Superman mushroom tea, man. Make sure y'all get y'all some. But anyway, I was watching I seen a clip of rapper Benny the Butcher. And he was saying like the streets don't control hip hop no more. You know what I'm saying? We done let so many bloggers and nerds into the industry to critique your music and all of that. He basically feel like hip hop lost a part of itself. You know what I'm saying? And we was having this debate on camera. I understand what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you have a large platform, you gotta watch how you word things because everybody don't think on a high level, obviously. You know, so I get what he's saying because like growing up in the 90s and prior to that, the streets did validate hip hop. From my perspective, if your shit wasn't hot in the streets, ain't nobody listening to it, you ain't gonna be the talk of the town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now that we got streaming platforms and different podcasts, everybody got their critique on it, and it almost mess up your rollout if you drop a new album. So I get what he's saying though. But you was combating all of that, man. What's your thoughts on that?
It's not combatants,
You was combating it.
No, it's not combatants. You understand me? It's look at it like this, right? When Larry Cohen came on, he was like, Run DMC was aspirational. Even though they were successful, they were popular, right? And he would rather push street music. You understand me? Because he felt that it was going to be easier to sell. Like murder, death, drug dealing was going to be easier to sell, right? And so you could have seen an emergence of more aspirational hip hop, right? But it was the executives that decided where hip hop was going to go. You understand me? It was the music business that decided where hip hop was going, right? And so, of course, there's always anomalies that pop up. You know what I mean? That's undeniable, especially when you go into mixtape era and things of that nature that become influential. And then they see ability to capitalize off that. That's different. But you got to understand, hip hop has never been organic. You feel me? It's always been interrupted, even when there was things that could have been positive, let's say, as far as, having certain groups being higher than others. The executive decided, no, we would rather push this person instead. You understand me? Because we know we can make fast money off this. This, even though we can sell this is more like art, right? This is McDonald's. We can sell this over and over and over and over again. And so I believe that, I think it's a skewed view of us ever having that type of control on hip hop. And I think that hip hop has always been, it's been artistic, it's been eclectic, it's been a nerd sport, it's been a gangster sport, it's been all these things. But also the gangster era of hip hop is still a small era in hip hop. Right. You understand me? Most of our favorite songs are still made by nerds.
Now the key word that he did use was the streets don't control hip hop no more. And you have essentially told me that you can't own what you can't. You mean you can't control what you don't own?
It's no longer gatekeepers. There's gatekeepers. They keep hip hop gay. I'm just saying.
I feel you're right. I agree 1,000%. But I feel like it's important to have gatekeepers. So I don't really be against gatekeeping because, like, if you don't got gatekeepers, like they keep letting all this folly into the industry, in all industries, really. You know what I'm saying? And shit, we'll never get nothing that represents all black people as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't even about representing all black people, but it is about more so represents the higher parts of our culture, right? And the higher part of ourselves. And this is the problem. When people talk about hip hop gets such a big place in representation of black people in America that it confuses the masses that that's who we are. Right. And that's, if you look at the long history, hip hop is only 50 years old, right? Like, Malcolm X died 50 years ago. You understand me? And so Malcolm X didn't know nothing about no rappers. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And so when you go globally, there's going to be a lot of people who going to know 50 Cent and might not know Malcolm X, right? Because there's a false representation of what our culture is because people are looking at the history of hip hop influence over the last 50 years. And they're summing that up in totality to say that this is what the culture is. No, that's just what you've been sold. It's a product that you've been sold that you were influenced by, right? But you have to then go throughout the lineage of Black American history and say that our culture is revolutionary, right? We have a tradition of Black liberation as a culture in America. And that's always been at the beginning since the early 1900s. Then we go to the 1800s. You go into the Seminole, the Freemen.
Right.
You understand me? Like you going into the Maroons. You going into not the Maroons, but you going into all these different things. And you saying that no, Black people have always been liberators. That's always been our thing. We've always fought for our rights. We've always focused on building our own, right? When we look at the history of things that they destroyed, it's because that was what our culture was building. 60 plus towns, right? When we look at us creating the bean pie is our culture, right? It's the only, particular dish, you understand me, that can conclusively say is a Black American, right, food, Black Muslim food, right? But that's because we also created is a remixology of religion in American culture. Christianity is uniquely customized towards the Black American experience in America. Yeah. Islam and Black America is uniquely to the culture of Black Americans in Islam. Now, what most people are missing is how we've been co-opted, how we've been psyoped in this country, and how they've been sold a false representation of us because 1% of us are doing the crime, and then they are representing the rest of us. And you're taking white supremacy statistics and you're blanketing that on the culture as if that represents us when the average man is not committing crime, right? The average Black men are not doing those things. The average Black man most likely is a nerd. That's the reality of it.
I just seen a study that said white men commit almost 54% of the most heinous crimes in America.
Where do you think we learned it from? We watched come on now, cats went and watched the Scarface movies. You understand me? They watched the Godfather movies. You feel me? Like we learned it through them. You know what I mean? We looked at their structures and their history and we emulated a lot of those things and wanted to be mob bosses and mafia and gangsters.
Now, what I would, on some prophecy type vibes, I would like to warn all of these rappers and singers, R&B singers or whatnot. The machines are on the rise. You can see they signing AI orders now. They already copying your likeness and doing all of that. If you don't get it together and we have more substance and start representing ourselves at a higher level, I don't see hip hop making it another 50 years.
Yeah, no, that's a true take. I mean, when I think about it, because the question becomes is like, when hip hop becomes obsolete when it no longer represents the people and their spirit.
Yeah.
So hip hop was like our spiritual weapon, right? It was fight the power. It was F the police. It spoke towards our fight and our struggle, right? It spoke to our movement of liberation. It spoke to the higher parts of our culture.
Yeah.
Now the lower parts of our culture are being pushed. Now, don't get me wrong. This year we've had great artists, JID. You understand me? Come out, right? Yeah. With music like that is high level. Joey Badass dropping his album.
My brother
right?
AJ
McQueen. You have some incredible artists this year that is this renaissance period in hip hop. And when I say renaissance, it's a rebirth, right? At where you're seeing more of those artists get more of those looks, and it's a little more prominent. It's always been there, been a through line, but they're breaking through in the industry as representation of where we are today. Then you see an artist that traditionally, right, did numbers like Young Thug having a hard time. Yeah. You understand me? And he's not breaking through. I'm not hearing a new Future song that's banging right now. You feel me? I'm not hearing those artists break through right now. I ain't seen G Herbo.
Yeah, but it ain't number one.
Exactly.
2 is not a winner and 3 no bad.
I mean, whoop doody doo.
Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo.
But again, it was easier for that street music to sell. Yeah. Now you reverse that and like people want something aspirational. Yeah. I seen there was an event, Culture Con, right? And I seen Black people and different people having an issue with the fact that they felt like it wasn't, community enough for them. They start to feel like a lot of the conferences feel rehearsed in the sense that it's celebrity culture. And here's the thing. I think that people are craving authenticity. They want something different, right? Yeah. The reason that you won't get that, because Black people are not the ones sponsoring these events. All right, we are 1.7 trillion spending power, but Black businesses are not sponsoring Black media and large scale, not sponsoring Black events. So when you want that authenticity where 19 Keys is on stage and I'm speaking the way I'm speaking and I'm giving the blueprint how I'm giving it, you feel me? You're not going to get that a lot of times because these larger events are the ones that are sponsored by these larger companies. And these larger companies don't want it to be so black. They're going to get afraid of that because we're in a time to where you'll be punished for being too black, right? So therefore, yes, they're going to go for the safety, right? So you're going to get your glossary of celebrities that they can throw in the pitch deck for ad dollars. That's different. But if you're going to complain about that, then you have to support those smaller creators and people that's throwing events, right? So that they can grow and throw larger ones, right? Because like we had our event in Brooklyn, right? So if you want to see those type of events grow, then you can come and support those type of events. You can get different blueprints. We have larger budget to be able to do things, and then you will see a shift in the culture. But as long as ad dollars are responsible for these larger events, that's essentially their job. That's their career. You might want more consciousness out of it. You want people to speak more truth about the political climate and what's going on, about this technological age, right? And the obsoletism that people are feeling in their jobs, the 300,000 black women losing their job. You're not going to be getting those things. You might not be getting the conversation around, you understand me, what's happening with the people in the Middle East. You ain't going to get those type of conversations because they can't have them. Right. And so there's the catch-22 that don't complain. You understand me? Where you're not investing, right? If you're not the one and the resources, if you looked at that on that flyer, if it didn't say Chase, but instead there was a black bank, sure they can say what they want to, right? Then they can be like, man, we need 19 Keys at the event, man. We can be as black as we want to, right? The reason that
ad dollars control you,
exactly.
Censored at the end of the day.
I'm sovereign in the way that I move. I'm independent, so I can say what I want to. You know what I mean? It don't matter if somebody do sponsor my event. I'm still gonna say what I want to. I'll just use you as a sponsor. You ain't getting that money back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just might not be the next sponsor. Like,
we gonna both game.
They ain't no refunds though. Ain't no refunds. You know what I'm saying? It's too late. You done gave me the money now. They said, man, you keep quoting Farrakhan. God damn.
Nah, for real though. But man, shout out to Brooklyn though, man. We had a nice experience in Brooklyn.
I also want to say this last thing. Every event that people are throwing, and I think they do warrant some form of criticism, but not to the point where it's destructive. I think the criticism comes from the fact that we are in this end game and everybody can feel it. And we don't really want to gather amongst each other and act like it's not happening. Right? And I think that's what people really are getting at. Like, it's cool to get together, but what are we doing? Right? People want to nation build. People want to feel safe. People want to be a part of a community that can contribute, that's shaping our future. So I think ultimately that feeling of unease, and even when we're together, it don't feel safe when we're not focusing on ourselves and our enemies, and we're not addressing the enemy that's the elephant in the room. I think that's ultimately what people are feeling, right? And the reason why I would say Invest Best didn't get as much blowback because, of course, I'm there talking that talk.
Yeah, man, Invest Best is beautiful this year, man. I love Invest Fest. Like I said, man, Invest Fest for me, it's like a reminder for us to stay on the journey, bro. No matter how hard it gets. It was getting hard, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Especially for me, as far as like, I feel like we supposed to been made the quantum leaps with this platform at the end of the day.
We will.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Invest Fest is always that reset. It was like, man, it ain't even about how you feel or what you think you should be. We need y'all. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people kept like making sure that I heard that message everywhere I went throughout Atlanta. So, like you said, we will get to that point. Even with Brooklyn, like I said, it reminded me how bad our people are suffering. You know what I'm saying? And they just want that. You know what I'm saying? Especially some people that's gonna keep it all the way real, on sugarcoat and give you a solution. Yeah, people are hurt, man. I'm actually on my way to South Carolina and Ohio. So make sure you go to 19keys.com and get your tickets. I'll also be in London, and I want to go to Ghana and Nigeria in November. You understand me? So make sure you always check in on 19keys.com/tour to see where we're going. Let's get into a little wealth talk, man. Yeah, I just seen that gold has reached 4K and Bitcoin
Gold.
surpassed 125K.
Yes. Gold
It's
reached
popular.
$4,000, man.
Yeah.
And I've been teaching and telling people about this for a long time. You understand me? Okay, wait a minute now. We got a member. Who is that? Who is that? I don't know about this name, but thank you. Became a member, master student level. Appreciate it. Everybody, go to our Patreon. We're going to be having some private episodes on our Patreon during our man-to-man breakdowns. But yeah, gold reached $4,000. I've been telling people and I've been educating people on buying gold over the last how many years y'all been seeing me do it? Every single year. Right. Every single year consistently. Buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, right? And it's done doubled up since we said that. It's a consistent increase of asset. It's going to continue to go up. Silver has went up because what do we say? When gold goes up, silver follows. Silver usually makes even bigger moves than gold, right? Then, of course, you got Bitcoin, right? They're looking at Bitcoin reaching $200,000, right? What will we get here at the end of next year, right? What will Bitcoin be at? 500,000, 300,000? Who knows? As the market becomes uncertain, right? It's hard to think about these predictions, but I think asset prices at some point in time is going to have a quantum leap, right? I think they're going to make major jumps and they're never going to come back down. Right, to where what we look at in 2025 is like almost us looking at the last right opportunity. I think there might be a reset in 2026, right, to where we get somewhat of a reset to where you get better prices to buy in. But I think that after that, that might be the last one. I think that AI is not a bubble in terms of the technology, but if you look at the economic infrastructure with NVIDIA and Microsoft and right, all these companies that essentially are taking billions and then just funneling them into them, and we're looking at all this news around it, and it feels like the money is booming, but really it's the same companies pouring money into each other, right? So you have to look at that as well. And I think the only bubble that's not AI is what you create and what you control, right? I think that's important. I made a video of stop learning AI. And the point of it was not to actually stop learning AI, but stop learning it in the way that people do, because people teach about one tool. And it's great to learn a tool, but what happens when that tool becomes obsolete, right? A lot of people was using Lovable, NAAN, right? And they're not obsolete yet, but OpenAI then drops an AI tool that instead of using some of those tools, it automates and stitches those apps together that allow you to be able to create whatever you want to. And so now you've been learning this thing and now that becomes obsolete, similar to going to school because you can't see that the future is changing. So instead, learn the philosophy of it, right? Learn to really think with an overmind. And the overmind is when you start thinking above things, right? To where you're saying, okay, if the tools are getting increasingly better, month after month, you know what I mean? Cycle after cycle, then where would they be in another year? So build your idea based on where it's going, not where it is, right? So therefore, if I'm building me an app, I'm not thinking about the limitations of my resources and where the technology is. I want to build the idea out to where I think technology will be. So when it happens, then I can use those tools to build that idea out thoroughly. So now I'm not limited by my resources, right? I can become free by my imagination. And imagination and creativity, ideas will be the currency of the future. Because right now, what's missing right now is good ideas. We have the technology. Where are the good ideas, right? That's why we've been focusing on our nation building platform.
I want to talk about some controversy real quick.
All right. We're not talking about Cardi B and them.
Man, you the one just bought the album. You the reason she went. You the reason she got the number one.
She went platinum because of that song on the album, brother.
No, that song that you keep streaming every day.
What song? What song?
Whatever song that play. I don't know.
How I go?
I don't know.
Oh, you ain't never heard it?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
See, that was the catch-22. Yeah. You know he got a song.
You thought I was going to sing the song. That was the
catch-22. You know a song.
No.
That you don't want to say.
That song that you keep singing.
Stop it.
Anyway.
I actually don't know none of them ones on the album.
Now you cap.
I swear to God.
Bro, I just seen you at the gym.
No, stop it.
I had my headphones today.
But I heard she definitely had a lot of writers.
I mean, I don't At this point, you better have some writers in hip hop to stay relevant. The way they jump from artists to artists in hip hop nowadays, you better have a team of writers like Drake did to stay relevant and stay in the mix. I ain't mad at it. But on another note, right? I was getting my hair cut like a month ago, and my barber was super Christian, and had the nerve to ask me how did I feel about the Charlie Kirk situation.
Oh, Charlie Kirk.
And I kept it all the way honest with it. I knew the background of the barber and all of that. I say, look, man, he was like the biggest face of white. Can I say the S word on it?
White supremacy.
White supremacy. I don't want them to ban us or whatnot.
White supremacy.
All right, white supremacy. He was like the face of that, especially when it comes to talking about black people, right? So I was telling her the truth. I say, look, I empathize with the fact that he was, assassinated in front of the children or whatnot. However, I don't, feel sorry for him per se as a human being, because I feel like it's dangerous with the type of messages that he was spreading on this platform, And recently I just seen Candace Owens, upload some text messages, and a lot of people was trying to say that they was decorated. Some of it's true, some of it's not or whatnot. What's your thoughts on it? Or did you even see the text message?
All right, so when Charlie died, they said that he was like MLK. And then Candace had a dream. You know what I mean? She said that Charlie said that the young man didn't kill him. And then she uploaded some text. I don't know if that's the right order of time events. She uploaded some text, and he was saying that he's no longer going to be pro, them people. You feel me? And so she had been saying that she's going to drop a bombshell. Y'all keep playing with me. You understand me? So she's coming out like, that's my friend Charlie. I had a dream. He came to me. You understand me? Yeah. Like, she going hard for Mr. Charlie.
But that was her friend, so I expect that.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
But that ain't the point, though. I mean, the point of it is that what y'all gonna do about it, Malcolm? What y'all gonna do? Turning point. You understand me? What y'all gonna do? You gonna let them people get your boy like that? Or you gonna get your revenge? That's the question. Y'all gonna let old Charlie boy die for nothing? You see what they did to that boy Charlie? You know what I'm saying? They took that boy out. Yeah. Now, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to do with me. Because Charlie was a mediocre white man that was backed by them people. That's why he was able to get to where he got. Yeah. And, I don't have a stake in the fight, because I think that what Charlie really represented was a blueprint that we don't follow. He represented a blueprint where how do you take resources and get behind somebody, right? To where you can then create you a base, a political base, a revolutionary base that you can then use, right? And so this is where we at, where, he started, he got $4.8 million. Give me $4.8 million, man. I turn the black community. I'm getting the coaches together fast. I seen where they talking about Candace Owens about to do a black sit and go run to the HBCUs. You understand me? Like, no. And the black sit is like an exit from the Democratic Party. You feel me? And she said she gonna hit those HBCUs like Charlie was hitting them WBCUs, whatever you call them things. You understand me? But you give me that budget, I get the young brothers together. We got Project High Level. You understand me? We get them on a higher consciousness. You understand me? We get them tapped into the independent movement. So therefore, we got a swell base that we can utilize when we want to for, the political movement, if that bit's needed on a local level, you understand me, and on a federal level. You feel me? But the problem that really happens is that, we're not putting our money, you understand me, where the movement is. So therefore, we always looking at them other people. But, at the end of the day, man, let them have a fight. They realizing what we already knew. You understand me? And that's who the true devil is. Yes. And when you've been working for the devil and you think you're an angel, man, they hit hard.
Say, ain't nobody bigger than the program.
You feel me? Ain't nobody bigger than the program.
Straight up, man.
You feel me? I seen recently, though, they saying that we can't get our citizenship in Burkina Faso.
We can't or we can?
We can't, man. They said that the brother Ibrahim Traore, I got to look more into it. You understand me? So take this.
Yeah, because I know he just killed all of the visas for, for the Africans, right?
Nah, he said for the Black Americans, man. He said, man, y'all niggas is doing too much, man. You feel me? But they were saying this because some people was trying to sell them, and then it was way too many people trying to come. Everybody trying to go. Then he said there's safety issues.
Bro came in the office and made change the fast way. Quantum leaps.
I would actually rather he do this, because I would not want something happen and then they're trying to blame it on Black Americans. Like, let's say something happened to them, and then all of a sudden they saying it was because Black Americans came over there and the CIA sent the operative from our side, you feel me, go get him. I would rather that not be, you feel me? And I'd rather him have discernment, because when you build a nation, man, you do have to have discernment of who you let in.
Right.
Because you gonna get a lot of the scared to death Negroes that's gonna want to run over there for protection, and that might be our weakest ones. You understand me? While the strongest ones is still here. You feel me? So I would be careful, because maybe he was looking at some of them people passport like, this ain't, I thought 19 Keys in there was coming. You know what I'm saying? He said, I don't know about this. Man, y'all, he seen them people, he start revoking, man. No, man, reject, send them back. You start looking at your political affiliations and where you're coming from. He say, nah. Where the revolutionaries at? You know what I'm saying? So my brother Treyo, I had a conversation with you, man. We'll figure it out, man. I'll tell you who you should let in, who you shouldn't let in, so you will know. You feel me? Any of them boule, Black excellence folks, man, keep them out. Keep them out. They go corrupt your system. They go corrupt your water. You can't trust them. You understand me? They probably work for them other folks. You understand me? Only the God bodies. Only rock with the God bodies.
Yeah. We rock with what's his name? Even I'm saying it right.
And I wouldn't go over there scared, man. I get double citizen. Don't get me wrong, because I think at this point in time you need to have double, triple, quadruple citizen all across this planet Earth.
Yes. Yes. And shout out to my good brothers, Community Love. We actually got a drop with the merge between High Level Crown Society and Community Love coming, and we do have him, Ibrahim, on the shirt. It's one of the characters that we chose, and one of the figures we chose.
All right, so let's get back into this culture thing.
All right, let's get back into the culture, right? I got one more thing for the culture that I want to talk, but two more things, actually, because we can't, like you said, we got to address the elephant in the room.
All right.
And over this past week, Diddy got sentenced to 4 years in jail.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Got sentenced to 4 years in jail. Now, a lot of people was like, nah, he should have got more time. Some people say, nah, we should have just let him out on the streets and whatnot. He should get time served. He wanted to get a pardon from Donald Trump. Me personally, I feel like, man, 4 years, you already got a year in. You only gonna do another year, man, you might as well sit down, man, and really rehabilitate yourself. Real talk. That's what I do. I just sit my little time out and come home on probation or federal.
How much time you think he gonna serve?
The feds is a different guy. He's 85%. He already got a year in. He gonna have to do another year and a half, worst case scenario, behind the walls. He'll come home on confinement, halfway house. Worst case scenario, Diddy gonna be out in a year and a half. He might get out before that if Trump grant him the pardon. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, the Diddy thing is interesting.
Yeah.
Because the way they use the law against him, right, you know, is unheard of, right? Putting a RICO case on one man, using the Mann Act. And the Mann Act is, of course, the White Slavery Act that was started, you know what I mean, to get Jack Johnson, who was postpartumly pardoned by Donald Trump because they found out, of course, it was a racist law that was put in there to discriminate against him because they had nothing else against him. And he was having sex with all these white women. And so, you know, they use that when they can't find nothing on you, right? So we know that. And what they did is they destroyed him first in the court of public opinion, appealing to the emotions, especially of abuse survivors, so that no matter what, people don't care, right? And so in the eyes of many people, it's not about justice, right? It's emotional justice. Like, make me feel, you know what I mean, justified based on the way that I feel that he was taken care of. Like, a lot of people, when we first heard the case, we thought that there was going to be more. We thought it was going to be worse, right? And I believe that when a man does wrong, right, then he should be judged for that particular wrong, but not that you should use the full force of the law to go after him for other things. And we know that this has a lot to do with the Diageo case, right? We know that, you know, there was a greater web of things that he had going on, that he was going against the program and they had to sit him down, right? That's what it was really about, making an example of him. It had nothing to do with justice whatsoever. And I think that people need to be careful when you're being emotionally manipulated to go against people, right? For somebody else's purpose. And you might say you don't care, but when it's you or some other miscarriage of justice, you can't expect nobody else to care. Because an injustice anywhere, right, is an injustice on everyone, right? Even if somebody's being over sentenced. And we know in this country, black men are notorious for that, right? But with somebody like Diddy, it's a very unfortunate situation because they're going after powerful black men. Yeah. Now, what was sickening that I seen in the case was more so about how like 50 Cent responded. Yeah. He responded and something that, and again, goes back to that whole streets don't run hip hop. It's like 50 Cent came out in the game where he was like known as the revival of the streets. You understand me? The rebirth of it. And now, he's on this social media writing letters to the judge. Man, it's the farthest from the idea of the streets that you can possibly get from. You feel me? It's the corniest shit that you can actually do.
He's the worst type of friend I ever had in life.
But it really just gets to where the culture is, our level of acceptance for things. There are no more standards, no more check and balances. And the streets need to recognize this. The brother Hocus Bo Fifth put out a challenge, a Drop My Flag challenge. And I think people need to pay attention because this all comes together, right? Once you are in that gang foul, right, and they can tie you to gang injunction and activities that go back, right? That RICO can be put on you and your boys. You understand me? So by dropping your flag, you're renouncing, you understand me, that gang profile. So therefore, you will not then come under that precedence, right, of that case. And so I think it's the smartest thing to do in the first place, because we have a generation of young men who are picking up this flag, who are picking up this affiliation, and they already got a trap ready for you to be ensnared. Yeah. Right, especially as they sending out the military into these communities, and then they got a foul on you saying you gang, and now since you gang, the general public won't care. They saying, man, we want to be safe, and you can't be mad at an old lady for wanting her community to be safe. Yeah. Right, when these young men are terrorizing and nobody knows what to do with them, right, and there's no budget to go in there to give them more opportunities, right? There is no case that shows that the military works in these situations. Right, because it does not, because it's not long term. How do you long term sustain where people don't have jobs and opportunities, and there's low education and not enough skill, and there's also food deserts and things of that nature, right? You having this expectation that you can go in there and just do what they did in that, I think it was El Salvador, where you just lock up everybody is what they real thought is. So you see private prison stocks shoot up. You understand me? Like, that's their real game plan. They don't plan on reforming. They look at these young men as if they're not reformable, like redeemable, right?
It's even another trend, like you said, they got the troops coming into the neighborhood. They're doing the ICE situation. And it's a trend that I've been seeing going around on Facebook where illegal immigrants been reaching out saying that they'll pay people to pick them up, to bring them in. Yeah. You better be careful, because I got a cousin who just get the bait or whatnot. He got his deposit and went and picked up some illegal immigrants and got pulled over at the border, and they hit him with human trafficking. So they get
Your cousin did that.
My cousin did that. Then he called me and asked me for some advice. I said, you need to learn what your name means in Spanish.
So wait a minute. He picked up some illegal immigrants and tried to take them back to Mexico?
I think he tried to bring them here, if I ain't mistaken.
Oh, he tried to be, he tripped.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was about the money, and now he looking funny.
Gringo.
Yeah, but anyway, they hit him with human trafficking, no bond. And he ain't the only one who did this. I know a few people that's fighting cases like this right now that's going on. So make sure y'all, man, Trump and them ain't playing. First off, leave the streets. Don't do nothing illegal no more.
This is dead, man.
Nothing illegal,
man. You got robots.
That shit dead.
You got drones in the sky. You got social media.
They got robots, your phone is AI.
Like,
straight up.
What we doing? The brother from New Orleans just got caught. He was out for 146 days or whatever. He did good.
45. You
understand me? Goddamn world record from New Orleans.
Yeah.
But listen, man, it's 1,000 ways to get caught. Yeah. And it just ain't worth it. And I know what it is. It's hard to tell people what not to do. And I know that it's hard. You feel me?
But before we end this show, though, right?
What is face green smile? I don't know what that means.
I don't know. It was something you said though. You did say something about growing. But before we end this show, right? I feel like this is like the most important piece of the episode, and I feel like number one, I want to pay my respects to Baba Haru. He was our first guest on high level conversation to make his transitions with the ancestors. And when that was a good brother, man, he had got me the old McRing, made me that. He made a lot of 19 keys, jewelry, but he had a plethora of wisdom, bro. Like talking to him, it'll make you feel like you grew up as an Egyptian damn near. You know what I'm saying? The way he broke it down and made it clear. Y'all should go restream the episode, and my condolences goes out to his family. And also, I want to send condolences out to Asada Shakur. You know what I'm saying? The real deal revolutionary, man. You know, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. Asada was cold, man. She had one of them pure revolutionary liberation spirit. She lived in the liberation movement. And this same injustice system tried to clock her for murder, even though it was proven, you understand me, that she was innocent. But we know that these courts have been corrupt for a long time. And shout out to Cuba for taking her in. Shout out to the brothers for breaking her out. You understand me? That's real revolution. And she talked about having our own nation. She talked about the fact that you cannot appeal to the moral consciousness of the people that oppressed you. You understand me? She understood that very well. And I think that a lot of us are still trying to appeal as if by being nice. Prayer time. I think that a lot of us are still trying to appeal to the moral consciousness of our oppressors, right? And this is why, you know, you don't have freedom and liberation to this day, because you're not taking ownership of that responsibility and putting it in your own hands. When we talk about culture and we talk about Black people having a culture in America, that is our culture at this highest level of representation. When we see somebody like Asada Shakur, you understand me? It was a reason why it was celebrated, and people outside the culture may not understand why we celebrate a revolutionary who was convicted of the murder of a police, because we know the truth about America. You understand me? It might not be a culture that we share with everybody else, right? What we share with you all most of the time is, and what's given to you all is the lowest levels of our culture, so that you are judging us by a false representation of who we are. But Black Americans are the most influential voices on this planet Earth, right? We're the most spiritual people in a line, the most resilient people. You understand me? And even though our culture may be low at the moment because of how we've been psyop, colonized, and boule, it doesn't mean we don't have one, right? It means that it might not be the healthiest right now, right? And what we're working on is how do we increase the health of the culture, because we do have a culture of family. We do have a culture of conservative dynamics that exists within the traditions of our people historically. We have a culture in the way that we make our food. We have the culture of hospitality and how we treat people. You understand me? We have a culture of fighting back and fighting for what's ours. We have a culture of building. You understand me? And being inventors and liberators across this planet Earth. Our music is the most streamed music on this planet Earth. Our fashion is the most, you understand me, copied on this planet Earth. You understand me? The way that we walk, the way that we talk. We are the most streamed people on this planet Earth. The world pays attention to us while they're trying to hate on us, because they don't want us to think right highly of ourselves while they steal from us. That's the reality. But the thing about Black Americans is that we know who we are and the essence of our soul. And I mean the best of us. And we'll never forget that. When you see us in the Olympics and the way that we win everything and we take gold, that's our culture. When you see us fighting for ourselves, that's our culture. When you're always seeing a new liberator, always seeing new leaders, always seeing new innovators, you understand me? That's our culture. It's the reason why we're number one in the things that we're number one in. You understand me? It's because we are very brilliant and very powerful people who went through the worst things and did not let that break us. When y'all thought we was in chains, we was fighting. You understand me? It wouldn't be no civil war in America unless that we started the war first. You understand me? We fought for our own freedom. We are freedom fighters. You understand me? If you want to know our culture, yes, there's times when we get beaten, times that we get broken. You understand me? But we never break. We always get back up. We always rebirth. We always keep going. And everybody else got to bow down to that shit. And we ain't got to bow down to nobody else. And y'all continue to hate while the white man is on your neck. You understand me? Why you hating on your brother as if you don't have a true enemy? You need to focus on dissecting your enemy. Why you trying to dissect us and break us down? We'll never bow down to that shit. We'll never be as weak as y'all. We'll never try to, you understand me, use our most brilliant and brightest minds, right, in our culture to try to destroy y'all and talk about what you don't have or what you do have, even though we're the ones that gave you your consciousness back. We're the ones that gave you your history back. You understand me? We're the ones that's leading the future and where it needs to be. So before anybody fix their lips about Black American culture, man, we are the culture of the planet Earth.
Yes. Man, it felt good to do a new episode of the Man to Man. I'm gonna be honest. What you got coming up? Well, first I'll go first, man. I'm dropping my first AI film this Friday on the 10th. Pre-orders are available right now. All you gotta do is go to Instagram, click the link in my bio. But my movie is called Conceptual Disappointments, man. You just go read up on it. But I feel like it's something that all Black people in America need to watch. Like ASAP, man. Make sure y'all go stream that. What you got coming up this weekend?
This weekend I'm gonna be in Charlotte. I'm gonna be in Ohio this week. Those are the main two things this week for people to pay attention to when I'm in your city. Make sure you tap it in. You know, I've been focusing on building out this Supermind brand and building out the Zion platform. Those are two things that's heavy on it right now. I know a lot of people are looking for me to get back into the mentorship and the consultations and really teaching people. Before we leave, I had a bunch of people write in some few things. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So I was asking people, what is it you're currently needing help with, right? And my brother Mock D Mod, he said that finding people on the same level / frequency, that's community, right? That's why we focus on building a highly aligned community and a high level nation. So make sure you're part of that. My brother Kelly One Event or Sister said mastering trading, right? Inside of that, we have our brother Antoine Digital, right? That also can help you with trading. And we have tools that will help you inside of that community as well. Then we have Mr. Rogan. We must all break the matrix, man. The platform is called Zion. You understand me? It's about building outside of the matrix. We have my sister Chell says making more money. Oftentimes, making more money is about positioning yourself better so that you have clarity about who your consumer base is and who they think you are. Everybody should have a personal brand, but a personal brand is essentially just a reputation. Guard your reputation with your life, build your reputation. So when somebody is thinking about you, what are they thinking about you for? You understand me? What are you associated with? What are you connected with? How are you positioning yourself in the marketplace with at least one word, one idea that comes to mind? So anytime you want to connect people and monetize those ideas in that association, you can, right? And then you start building systems on automation. There's some things you're going to have to learn, right? You're going to have to be a part of a community, because I don't think it's just about buying a course and being alone. I think it's about being a part of a community that's helping you along the journey, right? Then you got a brother saying raising capital for real estate deals. If anybody is looking that is currently making 6 to 7 figures and is looking to get loans or credit and things of that nature, we also have somebody in there, my brother Shakur. He's a co-owner in the bank, right? I'll be dropping a link. Right. I'll be dropping a link. Matter of fact, I'm gonna drop it right now for everybody that wants to sign up. This is not going to be on your personal credit checks or things of that nature. So if you're looking for capital right now, we have an opportunity for you. You understand me? It's going to toomuchfunding.com/19keys. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link in here. So for all of you all, this is gonna be on my high level club on my Instagram. So go to my Instagram, go to the bio, join in, tap in. So boom, that's for the capital right there. I just dropped that. Y'all should have gotten that. Make sure you sign up, because it might be you in the next 30 to 60 days with up to $100,000 of funding. These are all things that we're building a platform out. So as we're building out the nation, you can get access to these things. That link right there is for Supermind. So anybody that want to support what we're building over here, This is about having your daily clarity, your daily ritual, so you can have that awakening. You understand me, in the morning. And then we even have the tea after 12 o'clock. So we just dropped the tea, so you can go get that tea if you want to support what we're doing. Our products allows us to do more, allows us to build. You understand me? So make sure you got your coffee, you got your tea. This is before 12 o'clock. This is after 12 o'clock. That's what I got in here right now. Some of that Superman tea. Let's see. We got one more. Brother Not Melly, 17-year-old Not Melly says, I'm 17-year-old. I'm on a spiritual path and unsure where to start or what to learn. How can I develop my mind and speak with sophistication like you? And what resources should I study? I'm beginning with George Massey books after hearing Baba Haru speak on them. First of all, I want to commend you for utilizing the internet for what it should be used for, right? Seeking knowledge, right? And finding community and tribe. Very intelligent, right? When it comes to what books, I have a long list of books. We actually have a book club, so you can join our book club by just DMing me the word book club, and you can get access to that. We're actually starting different types of book club. One is going to be like a radical book club. That's going to be inside the High Level Nation. Then I will give lists of books for different topics, because people ask me this question all the time. So some of them are for communication, some of them for marketing, from sales, some of them are metaphysics, some of them are consciousness. And I'll be lining out my book list. I'm probably going to be dropping them in the Patreon first. So make sure you get that. What was the other part of your question? Communication starts with confidence, but I studied communication and articulation. One of the best ways to become a better communicator is to learn and to practice, right? When I learn something, I review it over in my mind and I think about how I want to say it. And then I practice saying it until I get it right. A lot of my communication strategies goes into visualization. I have a lot of frameworks and ways that I do, right? To become a better communicator, right? Number one, you want to really enunciate what you're saying, right? By moving your lips like this, right? Until it becomes a practice, right? A lot of people, they talk as if they have a lisp, right? Or they talk as if their mouth is dry, right? And so they're not accentuating their words, right? There's a lot of things that goes into the technique. Use your hands to speak before you, right? Develop confidence by learning and speaking on the things that you know. Pull from a place of passion. Speak on things that make you excited, right? So no matter what, you can always speak on it, but not excited to the point that it leads away the mind. Excited because you're passionate about it. You think that it's important and you care about it, right? But there's no better way to become a better speaker, right, than to learn it and to practice it. So I will read all the books on it. I will read all the TED Talks that I watch, all the TED Talks that I can. I will study it, and then I will practice in real life. Now, one of the things that I'm actually going to be shooting next week is our higher level communication class, because I think it is one of the number one skill sets of the future. What was the rest of that question? I'm trying to find the rest of it real quick so we can get out of here.
He said he's 17, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
17.
You say, okay, I'm beginning with George Massey, but all right, I think that was the most of it. I say, how can I develop my mind? Learning, man. There's no better way of learning than experiencing. So one of my frameworks goes into developing complexity, right? So the law of complexity, right, is that, you know, in every area in life, you want to look at it as a framework, right? And developing complexity. I develop complexity from the mosque to the streets to the nation. You understand me? Through traveling, through books, through life experiences, to get in trouble, through lessons, through studying art, right? To going to different places, right? Growth happens through challenge. If you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing, right? So I'm always experiencing different environments that develops this level of complexity within me, so I'm never drawn from one source. When I was growing up in St. Louis, right, in those environments, I always was seeking things outside that environment, sources of information, of intellect, right, of inspiration outside of my environment, so I was never like my environment. Otherwise, it would be easier for somebody to, you understand me, conquer me in the way that I was thinking, because they would know exactly what the young men from this environment do, what they think like, the places that they go to, So I will always stretch myself to make sure that I'm thinking outside of that. I will study something just for the point that people would not know what I know, right? To be underestimated at all times. I was always challenging myself to study different things. And I still do that to this day. I will pick up something that I know that doesn't make sense for me to study. So therefore, I will find a perspective that I normally wouldn't get, because a person of my archetype, a person of my character, you wouldn't think that they would pick up this book. I would study a racist person ideas. Why? Because I know that a person like me probably typically wouldn't. As a Muslim, I'm studying what Christians think. You understand me? I'm studying all these different things that allow my brain to develop complexity and perspective to draw from different sources, right, outside of the box that is connected to what a person think I am. So therefore, it's hard for people to clock me, because they don't know what I know and what I don't know, because it's a very eclectic sense of things that I'm discovering consistently. So as a young man, you always want to keep your mind interested. You want to keep your spirit high and curiosity towards knowledge. So I think that that's key, right? How do you develop your complexity? Because complexity is representation of your consciousness. So that's being your man to man. I appreciate y'all tapping in. We are building out a digital nation to where all these things will exist in once. Soon you will have to jump off to all these different places, right? A lot of people are really tapping in, and they want to know how to manage their mind. They want to master their mind so they can get to a point of elevation and ultimately get to a point of sovereignty and freedom, right? They're looking for daily clarity, which is why we have our Supermind apps, right? While we have our products like our coffees, we have our teas, we have our chocolates, but also more than that, right? It's just the understanding that you're going to need clarity in this future that's uncertain. You want to wake up daily and have clarity on what you need to do. What is the guidance? What is the right path that you need to take in life? That's Supermind Labs, right? We have our Crown Society. So hats and crowns are available right now while supplies last. So make sure you go tap in. That's representation of tribe and identity, what you connect to cosmically, what you connect to physically, what you connect to spiritually. You understand me? And then, of course, we have our bundle pack. So if you want to learn more about gold, crypto, AI, for $44 instead of $444, you can go get that right now over the next 24 hours so you can tap in. We have to have these things because this is how we're able to fund the movement, fund these things. Otherwise, we can't continue to grow. We're working on some really big things. We're working on some land groups where we can buy land together, create alternative cities, things of that nature. So be looking out for that. Right now, if you go here, you'll be able to get this for $44 instead of the $444. You understand me? It's going to be your last opportunities to go get this. So make sure you tap in while it's available. This is like the best deal that you could possibly get that I'll ever do. You understand me? It's basically you're getting a few ebooks in there. You're getting all of the lessons that we taught from the past. It's really like over like $5,000 worth of value. We just keep slicing it down. But what this hasn't been on sale in like a couple of months. So the reason we're going on sale because gold went up to 4,000, and so to celebrate, we said, man, let's get people to access for $44. So make sure y'all get that tonight because it's going to be going off sale again, and then people are going to be buying it at regular price. So I like to really celebrate the people who show up. It's only like 230 people in here, right? A lot of people probably gonna watch this later, but shout out to the people that show up. You feel me? And the people that make it to the end of this. Everybody don't get that gift because everybody not gonna make it to the end of this and actually watch it and even know that that's available, right? But the people who do, that's like my thank you to you for spending time with us. So I appreciate you. Share that with the family. You understand me? Share that with friends. Let them know that it's available. You understand me? And tap in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. Y'all continue to grow out there. Continue to build. Be vigilant. Watch out on social media because there's mental warfare being played on us, right? The things that I talked about AI, I put it in there, right? I probably put my best AI class that I ever taught in there. And so it's so ahead of its time. There's a lot of people that been able to build their businesses, been able to build their company just on the lessons that I taught right in here, right? So make sure you tap into that. You have a child, make sure they learn it. You want to learn more about gold. We even have lessons on mindset, right? Learning how to learn. There's lessons on there. Again, this will be disappearing completely as we're building out our new lessons. It's just going to disappear. It's not going to be available at all. And a lot of you are going to be asking, yo, what happened to it? And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're just going to plug this into, right, the rest of our other platform, and we're going to a la carte it. So that means that one lesson probably will cost you $44 because that's going to be worth it, right? And we're not going to be making multiple courses. We're focusing on community so that we can take you along with us and we can actually see your progress that you're making. You know what I'm talking about? So anyway, family, I appreciate you tapping in and investing in yourself, and I'll see you on the other side. Y'all be blessed. Y'all stay tapped in. Peace to the gods.
Peace to the gods and the goddess.